The Civil War was a dark imprint that stained American history. It's a tragic event that will never be forgotten. It was a war that turned brother on brother. Many people were willing to risk their lives out of the severe dedication they had for their beliefs and country. One of those people is Mary Edwards Walker. Mary was an amazing woman that changed the entire women's rights movement. Walker was a women's rights activist, a doctor, and most importantly, a feminist. She was born on November 22, 1832, and died February 21, 1919, in Oswego, New York. Walker attended Syracuse Medical College, Bowdoin Collegiate Institute, Faley Seminary, and New York Psychotherapeutic College. During the Civil War, it was extremely scarce to see women divorce their husbands. Mary Edwards Walker was one of those rare women. Due to the lack of passion and happiness in her marriage, Mary Edwards Walker divorced her husband. Later, she married medical student Albert Miller and decided that she wouldn't take his name. Even though the Walkers gave birth to 5 daughters and 1 son, they urged every single one of their children to have a professional career and wanted to give all 6 an equal education. Walker challenged social and cultural values to such an extent that she earned the nickname Contrary Mary. The main focus of Mary's reform movement was the clothing that women were forced to endure. Women's clothing was always a controversial topic. Many feminists argue that the traditional outfit women were expected to wear, constrained corsets and humongous skirts, were unhealthy and limited movement. Amelia Bloomer decided to create a combination of dress and trousers known as the Bloomer costume that was abandoned as it angered many politicians. Later, Mary Edwards Walker adapted that way of dressing along with dressing like a man. She would wear trousers and starch-collared shirts. This wardrobe would lead to many men chasing and launching rocks at her. In the beginning of 1857, she became one of the writers of The Sibyl, a review of the taste, errors, and fashions of society, a newspaper, attended dress reform conventions, and became one of the vice presidents of the National Dress Reform Association. She also wrote and preached about education, marriage, abortion, and equal pay. In 1867, Walker spoke about temperance, dress reform, and the horrific memories she had of the Civil War in England, New England, the Midwest, the South, and in Congress. She believed that women already had the right to vote and didn't bother supporting other feminists who wanted an amendment that gave women the right to vote. This made her stand out from other female suffragists, such as Susan B. Anthony, who believed Walker's views were too extreme. With the insurmountable amount of opinions pouring out of her, Mary decided to publish a book named Hit, where all her radical ideas and countless topics are documented.
Because Walker couldn't find work due to her gender, she volunteered as a doctor at Indiana Hospital in Washington. The sole reason she got hired there was because the medical officer was so desperate for more doctors, he ignored that Walker was a female. On April 1st, Dr. Walker traveled down the wrong road, ran in with Confederate soldiers, and couldn't do anything but surrender. She was a prisoner at a military prison named Castle Thunder, where the food was so spoiled, Walker became ill. She got released on August 12, 1864, after staying there for 4 months in exchange for other prisoners. After her release, Mary took another medical position as an acting assistant surgeon with the Army and was sent to Louisville to nurse the inmates in a female prison. The prison was home to women who were believed to assist the Confederacy, and Mary became an agitation to the officials because of her determination to help the inmates as much as possible. Countless women were shocked to see the pants and large tunic that Walker would style herself in at work. Many ladies referred to her as an anomalous creature, ignored her medical practices and advice, and threatened that they required only a male doctor. When the Civil War began, Mary Edwards Walker traveled to Washington to petition for a commission in the Army as a surgeon. She became an assistant surgeon in the Army of Cumberland and was one of the first few females to go in the medical field and continue trying to preserve in it. When the Civil War ended, Mary Walker was a name that could never be forgotten in the female field of medicine.
The Medal of Honor is the most prestigious award for heroism in action against a rival force which can be granted upon an individual serving in the armed services of the United States, usually presented by the President. Those who receive this award either risked their lives or helped others to show their love and dedication to their country. A total of about 3,514 Medal of Honors have been presented out of the 2.75 million men and 1.8 million women who fought. Amid all 1.8 million women, there is only one female to have the privilege of receiving this award. That woman was Mary Edwards Walker. As a physician, feminist, and women's rights activist, She displayed the strength and persistence of women the world was ignorant and blind to. To be the first and only female to have received this award, she must have displayed actions equivalent to those other men who won the war have portrayed. She not only disobeyed the traditional dress code, but she also aided others who were injured in the war. In 1916, Congress revoked the famous medal from about 910 recipients. Mary Edwards Walker was among those who had to return her award, but the physician refused to return her award. To emphasize her dedication, Mary continued to wear the medal until her death. 60 years after her death, her Medal of Honor was posthumously restored by Jimmy Carter, the 39th president. Mary Edwards Walker prided herself on her powerful views. She herself stated, "I am the original new woman. Why, before Lucy Stone, Mrs. Bloomer, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Susan B. Anthony were, before they were, I am." In the early 40s, when they began their work in dress reform, I was already wearing pants. I have made it possible for the bicycle girl to wear the abbreviated skirt, and I have prepared the way for the girl in knickerbockers. She showed women that they could be equal to men in terms of awards and made medical milestones for gender equality. Because of her amazing progress as a suffragist, Walker had a statue built in Oswego and also had, in 1982, a 20-cent first-class stamp issued in her honor.
The women who fought against stereotypical female dress code, who helped others that were injured, and who fought for equal treatment didn't do all that for nothing. Mary was willing to risk her life out of her severe dedication and persistence to pursue her beliefs and to improve the country as much as she could during the war that turned brother against brother. The war that left 620,000 people lifeless, and the war that will never be forgotten.